During a restoration project to Midyat's older buildings back in 2020, someone from the team discovered a doorway that leads to one of these caves. The more they dug, the more they found. These underground spaces underneath each house were known to people and they were using it for storage because it's quite cold. But what they didn't know is that they were all connected.
The drill bit hit something that wasn't supposed to be there. Turkish archaeologists working near Cappadocia expected solid rock. Instead, they broke through an ancient seal that had protected something extraordinary for 3,000 years. What emerged from that darkness has left experts scrambling to rewrite the timeline of human civilization. Underground cities, royal tombs, artifacts that shouldn't exist. The engineering was impossible. The metallurgy was centuries ahead of its time. And the inscriptions? They reference civilizations that officially never existed. This discovery proves our ancestors were hiding something terrifying about human history. When the seal cracked, archaeologists descended into a world frozen in time. Massive multi-level complexes carved from solid rock stretched into the darkness. These weren't crude cave dwellings. They were sophisticated underground cities designed to house thousands of people during extended sieges. The precision was unsettling. Stone blocks cut with mathematical accuracy. Ventilation systems more advanced than Roman engineering. Climate control that maintained stable temperatures year-round without any visible mechanism. Dr. Mehmet Özkan from Ankara University couldn't hide his bewilderment. The construction methods required tools and techniques that Bronze Age cultures simply didn't possess. Yet radiocarbon dating confirmed the impossible. These cities were built 3,000 years ago, during what historians call the Dark Age. Think about it. While most of the ancient world was supposedly struggling with basic agriculture, someone in Turkey was engineering underground metropolises. The tunnel networks spanned dozens of miles, connecting multiple cities through passages wide enough for carts. Hydraulic systems channel fresh water through complex underground networks. Storage facilities could feed entire populations through years of siege. But here's the kicker: the metallurgy workshops. Archaeologists found evidence of advanced smelting techniques that wouldn't be invented for another 500 years. Forge chambers, designed for temperatures that require sophisticated bellows systems. Slag deposits containing metal alloys that demanded precise knowledge of chemistry and timing. The Turkish archaeological team documented everything with scientific precision: temperature readings, structural analysis, comparative studies with known Bronze Age sites. Every measurement confirmed the same terrifying truth: this technology shouldn't exist in the historical record. And the people who built these cities? They vanished without explanation. No gradual decline, no evidence of conquest or natural disaster. One day they were operating the most advanced civilization in the ancient world. The next day, gone. The preservation was perfect. Tools left mid-project, cooking fires that burned out centuries ago. Personal belongings abandoned as if their owners expected to return tomorrow. Interconnected chambers reveal a society organized around collective survival. Communal kitchens, designed for feeding hundreds. Meeting halls with acoustic engineering that allowed speakers to address large crowds without shouting defensive positions that could repel armies while maintaining civilian life underground. This wasn't primitive survival architecture. This was urban planning that rivaled anything built above ground in the ancient world. The engineering team studying these sites admit they're struggling to understand the construction methods. Modern equipment can barely replicate the precision stone cutting. The structural engineering supports massive weight loads that would challenge contemporary architects. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, a specialist in ancient engineering from Cambridge, spent months analyzing the ventilation systems. Her conclusion was stark. These people understood fluid dynamics and air pressure in ways that wouldn't resurface in human knowledge until the Renaissance. The evidence keeps mounting. Acoustic chambers designed for specific sound frequencies. Water management systems that prevented flooding while maintaining consistent flow. Waste disposal networks that eliminated contamination risks. But the most unsettling discovery was still to come. Hidden behind false walls, archaeologists found the royal burial chambers, untouched for millennia, sealed with techniques that preserved everything inside in pristine condition. What they pulled from those tombs would shatter every assumption about Bronze Age civilization. Metal alloys that required industrial-level smelting jewelry crafted with techniques that demanded microscopic precision, weapons forged with metallurgical knowledge that was supposedly lost to history, and inscriptions that reference trade with civilizations that officially didn't exist yet. The underground cities were just the beginning. The real mystery lay in those sealed burial chambers, where the dead had been waiting 3,000 years to tell their story. The burial chambers lay behind walls so perfectly sealed that no air had entered for 3 millennia. When archaeologists finally broke through, they found something that shouldn't exist. Royal tombs filled with grave goods that defied every timeline of technological development. The metalwork was impossible. Bronze Age civilizations worked with copper, tin, and basic alloys. These tombs contained objects forged from metal combinations that required industrial-level smelting techniques, nickel-steel alloys that demanded temperatures exceeding 1,500 degrees Celsius, chromium-enhanced bronze that wouldn't be invented until the 20th century. Dr. Elena Vasquez, a metallurgist from the University of Madrid, analyzed the composition using electron microscopy. Her findings were stark. These alloys require precise temperature control and atmospheric conditions that Bronze Age furnaces simply cannot achieve. We're looking at metallurgical knowledge that's completely out of place. The jewelry was equally disturbing. Intricate goldwork showing microscopic detail that required magnification tools. Gemstone cutting with faceted precision that demanded diamond-tipped instruments. Filigree work so delicate that modern jewelers struggle to replicate the techniques. But the artistic influences were the most unsettling part. Ceremonial masks bearing design elements from civilizations thousands of miles away. Egyptian motifs mixed with Mesopotamian symbolism, and artistic styles that wouldn't appear in Turkey for centuries. These weren't crude copies or distant inspirations. These were precise reproductions that indicated direct cultural contact. The weapons told an even stranger story. Swords forged with pattern welding techniques that historians associate with medieval European blacksmiths. Arrowheads made from meteoric iron that required knowledge of celestial metallurgy. Armor segments showing advanced understanding of metallurgical stress distribution. Carbon dating confirmed the impossible timeline. These objects were crafted 3,000 years ago, during Turkey's supposed Dark Age. Preserved organic materials revealed trade networks that officially didn't exist. Silk from China, amber from the Baltic, ivory from Africa, spices from India, all found in burial contexts that predate established trade routes by centuries. DNA analysis of the remains added another layer of mystery. Genetic markers showing ancestry from populations scattered across impossible distances, European lineages, mixed with Asian genetics and African mitochondrial DNA. These people weren't isolated Bronze Age villagers. They were connected to a global network of advanced civilizations. The preservation was perfect. Leather goods that retained their original flexibility, textiles that showed complex weaving patterns requiring sophisticated looms, wooden objects carved with tools that left marks matching modern steel implements. Dr. James Crawford from Oxford's archaeological department spent months cataloging the finds. His assessment was troubling. Every object in these tombs represents technology that shouldn't exist for another 500 to 1,000 years. We're not looking at gradual technological development. We're looking at a quantum leap that appears and disappears from the historical record. The burial practices themselves defied explanation. Mummification techniques that preserved soft tissue better than Egyptian methods. Chemical treatments that prevented decay using compounds that wouldn't be synthesized until the industrial age. Wrapping materials that showed knowledge of antibacterial properties. And then there were the maps. Carved into tomb walls, archaeologists found geographical representations showing coastlines and land masses with impossible accuracy. Maps of regions that Bronze Age civilizations couldn't have explored. Detailed knowledge of ocean currents and wind patterns that required extensive maritime experience. The most disturbing discovery was a bronze disc showing star configurations that matched astronomical observations from multiple continents. Someone had compiled celestial knowledge from around the globe and synthesized it into a single reference tool. The writing systems carved into the chamber walls made no sense. Multiple ancient languages appeared in single locations. Sumerian cuneiform mixed with Egyptian hieroglyphs and scripts that linguists couldn't identify. But these weren't random collections of symbols. They were coherent texts that demonstrated fluency in multiple writing traditions. Dr. Robert Chen, a specialist in ancient languages from Harvard, spent months attempting translations. What he found challenged every assumption about Bronze Age literacy and cultural exchange. Trade records mentioning civilizations that officially didn't exist yet, commercial agreements with peoples that historians place centuries in the future, detailed knowledge of distant cultures that Bronze Age Turkey supposedly never contacted. The mathematical concepts were equally disturbing. Astronomical calculations showing precise knowledge of planetary cycles. Engineering formulas describing structural load distributions, geometric theorems that wouldn't be formulated until classical Greek mathematics. But the religious texts were the most unsettling discovery. Descriptions of gods and rituals unknown to any established pantheon. Creation myths that incorporated scientific knowledge about geology and climate that wouldn't be understood until modern times. Prophetic texts that reference future historical events with disturbing accuracy. The linguistic analysis revealed something terrifying. These inscriptions weren't primitive religious writings or basic trade records. They were sophisticated documents produced by a literate civilization that understood multiple writing systems, maintained extensive trade networks, and possessed scientific knowledge that was supposedly lost to history. Dr. Maria Santos from the University of Barcelona compared these inscriptions with other mysterious texts found across Turkey and the Mediterranean. The pattern was consistent: advanced knowledge appearing in Bronze Age contexts, then vanishing from the historical record without explanation. References to astronomical events that required precise observation and mathematical calculation. Descriptions of metallurgical processes that matched the impossible alloys found in the tombs trade agreements mentioning routes and destinations that wouldn't be established for centuries. The inscriptions described a world that historians insist never existed, a Bronze Age civilization connected to global trade networks, possessing advanced technology and maintaining written records in multiple languages. And then, like everything else about these people, the writing systems simply disappeared. No gradual evolution into later scripts. No cultural transmission to successor civilizations, just sophisticated literacy that vanished as completely as the underground cities themselves. The evidence was undeniable. Someone had been rewriting history, and these inscriptions were their confession. The precision stone cutting required modern tools and techniques that Bronze Age civilizations simply didn't possess. Archaeologists found cut marks on the chamber walls that matched patterns created by diamond-tipped saws. Surface analysis revealed tool marks consistent with tungsten carbide cutting implements. The mathematical precision of the stone blocks showed tolerances measured in fractions of millimeters. Dr. Andreas Müller, a structural engineer from ETH Zurich, analyzed the construction methods using laser measurement systems. His findings were disturbing. The load-bearing calculations required to support these underground structures demand knowledge of physics and materials science that wasn't available until the 19th century. The hydraulic systems were even more advanced. Water channels carved through solid rock maintained precise gradients across miles of underground tunnels. Pressure release valves prevented system failures during seasonal flooding. Flow control mechanisms regulated water distribution to different city levels with mechanical precision. Modern engineers studying these systems admit they struggle to understand the construction methods. The hydraulic engineering required knowledge of fluid dynamics that wouldn't be formalized until the Renaissance pressure calculations that demanded understanding of atmospheric physics. Temperature control systems that maintained stable environments without any visible energy source. But the acoustic engineering was the most unsettling discovery. Ceremonial chambers designed with perfect sound amplification, curved walls that focused whispered conversations across vast distances, resonance chambers that enhanced specific vocal frequencies while dampening others. These weren't accidental architectural features. They were deliberately engineered sound systems. Dr. Patricia Williams, an acoustics specialist from MIT, spent weeks analyzing the chamber designs. Her measurements revealed something terrifying. These rooms were engineered using principles of wave physics and harmonic resonance that we didn't understand until the 20th century. Someone was manipulating sound waves with scientific precision 3,000 years ago. The construction planning revealed centralized authority that could coordinate massive engineering projects, standardized measurements across multiple city levels, integrated systems that required simultaneous construction of interconnected components, project management that synchronized the work of thousands of craftsmen over decades, evidence of quality control systems that maintained construction standards across the entire complex, inspection marks showing systematic verification of structural integrity, repair protocols that addressed maintenance issues before they became critical failures. The engineering teams documented everything with scientific rigor: stress analysis of support structures, thermal imaging of climate control systems, geological surveys of foundation stability. Every measurement confirmed the same impossible conclusion: this technology was centuries ahead of its time. And like everything else about these people, the engineering knowledge vanished completely from the historical record. No gradual development, no technological transmission to later civilizations, just advanced engineering that appeared and disappeared without explanation. The pattern was becoming terrifyingly clear. Turkey wasn't an isolated anomaly. It was part of something much larger. Dr. Klaus Richter from the German Archaeological Institute had been tracking similar discoveries across the Mediterranean for decades. Advanced Bronze Age sites that defied historical timelines, sophisticated technology that appeared and vanished without explanation, evidence of global trade networks that officially didn't exist. The connections were undeniable. Göbekli Tepe's astronomical alignments matched star charts found in the sealed tombs. Stone-cutting techniques at Karahan Tepe showed identical tool marks to the underground cities. Metallurgical evidence from sites across Anatolia revealed the same impossible alloys and advanced smelting methods. But the pattern extended far beyond Turkey. Similar anomalies were surfacing across the ancient world. Bronze Age sites in Bulgaria showing advanced metallurgy that predated known technological development. Romanian discoveries revealing sophisticated astronomical knowledge encoded in stone circles, Greek islands yielding navigation instruments that required understanding of spherical geometry and magnetic declination. The trade networks were the most disturbing evidence. Genetic analysis of remains from the Turkish tombs matched populations from sites thousands of miles away. Identical artistic motifs appearing simultaneously across impossible distances. Raw materials sourced from locations that Bronze Age civilizations supposedly couldn't reach. Dr. Sarah Mitchell's comparative analysis revealed something that challenged everything historians believed about ancient civilizations. These weren't isolated pockets of advanced technology. They were connected nodes in a global network of sophisticated cultures that operated during humanity's supposed Dark Age. The technological knowledge showed clear evidence of cultural transmission. Engineering techniques that appeared simultaneously across multiple continents, mathematical concepts that spread faster than any known communication method could explain, scientific knowledge that required coordinated observation and data sharing across vast distances. And then, around 1200 BCE, everything collapsed simultaneously. The Bronze Age collapse wasn't a gradual decline or regional catastrophe. It was a coordinated disappearance of advanced civilizations across the entire Mediterranean and Near East cities, abandoned overnight. Trade networks severed completely. Technological knowledge lost as if it had never existed. The timing was too precise to be coincidental. While mainstream historians blame climate change or invasion by mysterious sea peoples, the evidence suggests something more deliberate: a systematic erasure of advanced Bronze Age civilization that left only scattered ruins and impossible artifacts. Dr. Chen's linguistic analysis revealed the most disturbing pattern. The unknown writing systems from the Turkish tombs matched fragments found at sites across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Someone had been maintaining written communication across a global network of advanced civilizations. The astronomical observations were equally troubling. Star charts that required coordinated observation from multiple continents, celestial calculations that demanded precise timekeeping, and mathematical collaboration across impossible distances. Scientific knowledge that could only be accumulated through centuries of systematic observation and data sharing. The implications were staggering. During humanity's supposed prehistoric period, an advanced global civilization had been operating sophisticated trade networks, maintaining written communication systems, and developing technology that wouldn't resurface until the Industrial Age. And someone had deliberately erased every trace of their existence from the historical record. The underground cities of Turkey weren't hiding from invaders or natural disasters. They were preserving evidence of a lost chapter in human civilization that powerful forces wanted forgotten. The terrifying truth was becoming clear. Our ancestors weren't primitive Bronze Age villagers struggling with basic survival. They were part of an advanced global civilization that possessed technology and knowledge that threatens everything we believe about human development. The sealed cave in Turkey had revealed more than ancient artifacts. It had exposed a conspiracy of historical amnesia that had hidden humanity's true past for 3 millennia. These discoveries prove our ancestors were far more sophisticated than we ever believed. The sealed cave in Turkey has revealed a terrifying truth that historians have spent centuries trying to hide. During humanity's supposed dark age, an advanced global civilization was operating sophisticated technology, maintaining worldwide trade networks, and preserving scientific knowledge that wouldn't resurface for millennia. The underground cities weren't primitive shelters. They were evidence of engineering prowess that rivals modern construction. The impossible metallurgy wasn't accidental discovery. It was systematic industrial knowledge that required centuries of development. The mysterious inscriptions weren't religious superstition. They were written records of a literate civilization that understood multiple languages and maintained global communication. And then it all vanished, deliberately, completely, as if someone wanted humanity to forget what we were capable of achieving. Underground Turkey holds the keys to rewriting our entire understanding of human civilization. These aren't isolated anomalies or misinterpreted artifacts. They're proof that the official timeline of human development is a lie designed to hide our true potential. The question isn't what happened to these advanced civilizations. The question is, who wanted their achievements erased from history, and why that conspiracy continues today. Subscribe to uncover more hidden truths that challenge everything we know about our past.